Thank you for all those who tuned in to today's Q2 2024 earnings call, as well as for those who submitted these questions to us that we'd like to take the opportunity to answer. So the first question that came in is, what is the target delivery date for first beta units? Which of the LOI participants are going to be receiving them? So we are on track for deliveries to initial customers later this year. Those will be the beta design. And we haven't yet announced exactly who those customers are, but as we did share on today's earnings call, we do have an exciting list of customers that'll be taking these units, some of which include Fortune 200 companies. So we do have a great list of companies that are going to be taking these units, and we'll be sharing more as we get closer to the end of the year. The second question is, besides the reactor, heater, and cooler, is there any other parts of the Carnot generator that are better off 3D printing than using traditional manufacturing methods, for example, the linear motor? So the Carnot generator is kind of a combination of both printed parts and conventionally manufactured parts. The ones you outlined, the reactor, the heater, as well as the cooler, are really the main components that we use additive manufacturing for. Things like the linear motor, we use conventional manufacturing processes that ranges from combining together magnets, doing coil windings of copper in order to be able to create electricity in that linear motor. But obviously, we really look at which components can additive create and unlock, right? Which things, if you design them in a way that conventional manufacturing couldn't make them, does it enable us to either get better efficiency or better performance out of the generator? And that's really where the reactor, the cold side, and the heater are those key components. Another question was, many investors are concerned about how a change in our government administration might affect incentives. What present incentive would Carnot qualify for? And is management making plans to react accordingly to potential administration changes? And would increase in oil production benefit Carnot?
Yeah, I'll take that one. I think the biggest incentive that Carnot qualifies for today is the investment tax credit, which is part of the Inflation Reduction Act. And what it does is it provides our customers who purchase the Carnot a tax benefit of up to 40% of the purchase price for purchasing a Carnot. Now, right now, that legislation may change next year. It's not clear exactly how it will apply. For example, today it really applies to Carnot being fueled by any type of fuel. Next year it may be more applicable to just renewable fuels like hydrogen or renewable natural gas. So we're very involved in trying to promote the investment tax credit on behalf of our customers, and we're also making ourselves aware of other DOE type of grants that are available that might benefit Carnot or our customers. So, and it's very hard to tell how an administration change might affect this, but we are staying on top of it.
Does Hyliion plan to partner with any other companies to help develop any of the Carnot subsystems or the peripherals? So the main components that we talked about before, the reactor, the cold side, the heater, those are all designed in-house. As we've shared a couple of quarters ago, we also pulled in the design of the linear electric motor. That was something that we used to outsource to another company, and we saw opportunities where it made sense for us to actually pull that design in-house and do it ourselves. Some of the other components around the systems, like the blowers, fans, radiators, those are really components that we're sourcing from others. We don't see much of a benefit to actually get into the design and development of components like that. What we more want to do is leverage other people's scale and volume of making components like a radiator to be able to drive our costs down. Next question is, does Hyliion as a company plan to use the rest of the buyback money?
Okay, so just to maybe catch everybody up, if you remember back in late December, we announced a $20 million share repurchase program. And just today we announced that through the second quarter, we've repurchased $14 million worth of shares underneath that program. It was about 10.9 million shares. Also, you might remember when we announced the program, the stock was trading at around 60 cents plus or minus, and it has now doubled or tripled even since that time period. So we feel like that the repurchase program has really served its purpose. We may resume repurchase at some point in the future, but for now, that cash, the remaining cash of $6 million, is just remains in our bank account for other uses, such as capital investments or development of the Carnot generator.
So far, what was the biggest technical challenge roadblock Hyliion team has or had in the design, development, manufacturing of the Carno, and how did we overcome it? So as you take, kind of design of components, let's think about CAD, and you've got, a 3D model of what you want the component to look like, and you actually take that and you move it into manufacturing. You release it to the additive printer, the printer starts making that component. It's expected that you have learnings, right? There's a lot of different things that go into how to design a part. So for manufacturing, so what's the intensity of the laser? How much powder depth do you want in the part? How fast do you have the recoder go across the part? So what we found is as you actually move into manufacturing, as you release these parts, there are oftentimes tweaks that you need to make to those parameters in order to have it production ready. So those are some of the things that we've been going through over the last quarter or two here. What's exciting we're excited to share though is once you get the part to a point where it makes a successful print, then you're really just at a rinse and repeat, and you just keep having that machine make the same part. And that's where many of the components, we've already moved them into production, or all the components we moved them into production, but there were some that we need to go back and do that reiteration of the design, which we've been undertaking. And the last question is, can the Carno source power for Bitcoin mining? Many Bitcoin mining firms out there are looking for options to power their infrastructure and facilities while reducing costs and carbon footprint. So yes, absolutely. Bitcoin mining, we do see that as an opportunity where the Carno generator can provide power. Very similarly, we talked a lot on today's call about the AI boom and needing more data centers. That's an area where we can provide that power. In the Bitcoin mining, I just want to share one unique example. So we've been looking at opportunities where you actually look at abandoned wellheads where there is still natural gas that's coming out of a well. Normally then it's being flared, it's being wasted. So there's an opportunity where we could actually use what would have been waste gas, run that through the Carno generator, produce electricity, which drastically lowers your operating costs because you're basically getting free fuel. And then you could actually use that power locally to do things like Bitcoin mining. So that sort of undertaking has already begun out in specifically in West Texas. There are people who are using kind of waste gas, but they have to purify that gas normally before they can use it in a generator. With the Carno solution, you could go right from wellhead gas straight into the Carno and start producing electricity. So that concludes the questions that we had. So appreciate everyone taking the time to tune in today. We thought it was another successful quarter with a lot of progress being made on the commercialization side of things. We've got a great backlog built for next year, and we look forward to getting these initial generators out there into customers' hands later this year.